Excuse me, sir. You can be worse than a little kid. Stuff down real quick. Oh, something in the way. Alright, so I'm headed to practice. Got a couple errands to do on the way. No, I'm not in my normal car. This is my neighbor John. So John actually passed away a couple years ago now. We just refer to his truck as John. His widow has me drive it every once in a while just to kind of keep it going, and she loans it for people who need a truck. John was the kind of guy that would tool around and go to like harvesters for all the low-income families around here and pick up food for them, stuff like that. So figure using it every once in a while is the least I could do for all the nice things he did for us. So not going to be a whole lot of driving around footage because I don't have my stuff, but do got a whole bunch of stuff in back that needs dropped off and things like that. So it's hot. It's not as hot as it could be, so I'm gonna get going and be back after a bit. So I'm at Dutch Brothers, and their outdoor people have cooling pads on their back to keep them from getting overheated. Kinda nice. Dragon Slayer lemonade.
Iced or blended?
Iced. Nope, that'll be it.
So a large iced lemonade. Your total is $4.36. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave this iPad. There'll be a couple bucks.
Nice they got you the cooling vests.
I know. People think it's like a bulletproof vest, but I mean,
It's still good.
alright, there's that for you. You have a good day.
You too. No, I'm good.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yep. Dutch Brothers was started up in the Northwest, so it's very cool that they got them cooling vests for where it's like stupid hot compared to where it started and it's normally rainy. So that's very cool. And the Dragon Slayer lemonades are delicious. So. Possibly the biggest Dutch Brothers I've seen. Most of them I've seen are like the size of small sheds. So, well, maybe biggest sheds, but they're tiny. They take up small footprints. That's the whole point. So, all right, back to the grind. Get a peek at the babies before Mrs. Finch comes back. They actually should be hatching any time now. I don't know if you heard me. They actually should be hatching any time now. They only take about 2 weeks to incubate or so. So that's her over there being very disgruntled with me at the moment. But she comes back fairly quickly. As long as we're not like up and moving around, she'll come and lay on them. She's a little more used to it. I have a feeling once they're here, she'll be a little less inclined to push on, because they'll be right there and need taken care of. We do. I don't know if you guys really saw that with the other stuff. I have a little webcam hooked up to it so we can check on them from inside the house. So, might see about hooking it up live sometime when the babies are here. So, should be a lot of fun. And look, I'm pretty sure I've got it so it looks straight down on the nest. So that'll be cool. So one of the things for doing these daily vlog things is get myself used to talking to the camera even when there's people around. That was one piece of advice I saw, is like just talk, not worry about whether people are looking at you or not. So I wonder if she's up there giving Mr. Finch a go. Oh yeah, he's back. There's Bob. We've started referring to them as Bob and Francine. Francine's always giving Bob the what for. She's not very happy with this whole thing, and well, Bob's like, they're giants, Francine. They're 200 times my size. What am I gonna do about it? It was a free house. So sometimes she'll get really ticked and she'll be like knocking on the gutters, and so, but she moved into it. We hope. They originally had a nest right there on that dark, this porch light before they came and did the power washing. So there just happened to be one in the fern that we never really noticed. So we're hoping it's them that lost their nest before and she started over. I guess finches can lay up to like 6 clutches a year. So these two are just normal little house finches. Bob goes off to work every day. Francine keeps an eye on the house. So it's kind of cool to watch them. We got the hummingbird feeder back up, at least one of them. Oh look, there's one of the hummingbirds. Because I guess finches also like hummingbird water on occasion. So we put in a finch suet block in the middle planter there, and then we got the feeder. The rules for the apartment building have changed a lot, so we didn't make it as much of an oasis out here as we did before. I mean, I get some of their rules, but some of their rules are just like, okay, cool, we're just gonna banhammer the world, and then we'll slowly give your things back. So, been really rough on all the residents here. Most of them are retired or like medically disabled, so they don't have a lot as it is. So what they did take away kind of took away all their fun. So there's the hummingbirds. So far it looks like we only have one, and it's the same one, which it may be because we didn't put the feeders up as soon. So that's the one that knows it's there. There's a little bit of a circuit between our apartment, and then there's an apartment over here, and then one down, I think two down there that have feeders, and they just kind of circle through. I don't know if you can see them all the way down there. See a little speck here. I'm getting a variety of birds. Red-winged blackbirds live down there in the pond. There is some orioles on occasion, which is cool. Kind of becoming a little birdie, like oriented, like figuring them out. There's a hummingbird back. I wish I had the ability to set up multiple cameras, because it would be kind of cool just to see what comes by. Then we can kind of leave it alone and keep it quiet. Neighbor's dog kind of barks a lot, so it kind of spooks them sometimes. It's been kind of nice. So the people that live over at the assisted living, which actually used to be the part of this complex. Actually, this complex may have been part of that, where they shrunk it down. They got like a brand new patio thing all set up this spring. They were out there having parties, they had music, it was crazy. And they got it a lot nicer over there. So, getting there. Anyway, just kind of experimenting with the vlog stuff. I need to get my little tripod out so things are a little steadier. I think my phone is starting to like be on the out, so the need for a new one is kind of looming, and I don't know how I feel about it, because that's what I do on my video. Camera's still working fine, it's all the other stuff that's starting to have problems. So who knows, I may have to get a new phone, and then this just becomes my camera. About what I use it for the most for anyway, other than a game. So anyway, sure Francine will be back here soon. It's very mellow and nice out right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're not out eating as much as they can. So, well, I'll probably be back a little bit later. Okay, so trying a little something different. You already kind of saw I was out on the porch having coffee, watching the birds. This feels awkward more than just doing like the how-to videos, because those I can kind of plan out. This is not planned. Try my hand in more of the vlog style videos. See how it works. Mainly to encourage myself to work on some stuff more. So that's all it is. Alright, so the process. So if people don't know, we're kind of in the middle of house hunting and paring things down in our apartment for the potential of finding a house while making the apartment more livable if we're here for another, year lease. So we've been here for 6+ years already, so housing market around here is horrible. So it may be a while before we find something. So we want to make it more usable than it already is. So a lot of my space is just completely chaotic because it's the sorting ground. It's the where everything gets worked on, when Mr. Howe is not working on their thing or whatever. So I guess first I'll just kind of show the setup I've got going. This is, in a lot of ways, it's very minimalistic, simply because I didn't have a lot of the extra for going and making a bunch of stuff. So do is what I gotta do. So I'm gonna flip you here real quick. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so first off is my bench. And for Reichardt, there's the cutting mat. It is a door mounted on 6 totes to make it counter height. That's all it is. The door is a sliding door from our closet that it was more in the way than it was useful. So we took them off. We now have a curtain over our closet. Makes it much more accessible because we have we have drawered shelves, so it makes it easier to get in and out for clothes, things like that. So, and then it's the one nice thing about this is when I knock things over, when the younger Scralings come to visit, this can be broken down real easy, and then we have an IKEA bed that we can put up for them to sleep on. So, and it's still a workable bedroom. Right now, though, it's a disaster. It's not a bad-sized room. It is not the largest room, however. So, over here, the pegboard is kind of a landing strip for things as I sort them, put things away. Jane Fox is probably going to be traumatized because sewing machine is currently covered. Sewing machine is currently covered. It just happens. I have stuff hung up all over the place, window covered, so I can either decide how bright I want it to be. Printers are currently not set up for running. The desk is just this sorting mess. Never trust a crafter with a super clean workspace, at least as far as production work. Sure, creativity, I don't know. Although I talked with Sir Richard Wolfwood once, and every Friday he makes himself clean his space. He doesn't work on anything. He just cleans the space because it gets like this. So that's what today is cleaning the space. So there is a project on the bench. It's just a super secret project, so I can't really show it. Part of the other disaster is getting armor sorted. Cut and throw stuff's over there in the bag. This is inherited armor, at least the green bag is. That's got stuff in it and been slowly parting out for a friend who can't fight anymore. Sorting chaos over on the seat bench. The seat bench over there that's covered in stuff is actually almost as old as I am. So, let's see what else. Oh, okay. Stuff tucked behind the door to work on. Trash. The closet has a lot of, well, it's mostly, I can't even get it open right now because crap's in the way. This happens when you wedge your door with a piece of PVC. Lots of camping stuff. There's tents, cots, all that normal stuff you collect. Things that, need put away somewhere or redone. I'd really like my terrarium back up and running, but I just don't have the time to take care of it at the moment. Bits and pieces, more armor pieces. That's the yurt project. Ancient Scutari that somehow I became the caretaker of. More stuff in the corners. Corners become a parking spot. So just little things like that. That set of drawers usually sat on the bench, but I was taking it down to see how easy it would be to take down so kids could come visit. It's got little projects in process, storage for electronical things, and some other project storage. You can see my little tables broke down and sitting there. More corner stuff. Things I really need to finish. Literally, I just need to put the handle on the boss on that shield, and it's done, and I can use it. But I have my other one. I have my own Scutari. Really needs work done and finished. Part of my goal with the rest of the summer is to sort out the rest of these. So it's kind of where I'm at. Some people have seen it. I've got a little extending tripod. It's kind of like a selfie stick with a tripod built onto it. That's what I use to hold my camera a good majority of the time if I'm not just carrying it. I do just use my phone. So I've got a Samsung Galaxy. It's got a really nice camera on it, or set of cameras. So, but then I also have like a couple portable battery packs that I can just hook up, carry it around. It's real nice and neat and compact. Will fit in my bag. Just little stuff like that. Got the super secret project in the works. Got the bounce the table around. Also got a bunch of little small projects that really just need finished, moved on. Little things. Get this all cleared up, ready. Of totally non-SCA related stuff, we actually have the finches that you saw earlier that live in the planter. Currently running a camera on them for a little live stream. She's sitting on 4 eggs, I think. So it'd be cool to see when they hatch out. We're like imminently close to hatching time, so she hatches out her eggs, and then it's like 2 weeks or so, and then they're out of the nest. So I guess we'll see if she reuses the nest later, maybe. That'll be cool. Event-wise, there's not a whole lot going on. For a little bit earlier, I did go to fighter practice last night, but by the time I got there, the heat had gone up. There were a bunch of people kind of overtaking the patio where we normally practice. So it became just kind of more of a socializing time. We've started alternating our practices between rattan and cut and thrust. So this week was rattan, next week will be cut and thrust. We're trying to diversify our fighters somewhat so that most of us are crossover guys. So that way it doesn't matter what's going on. We can go, we can put on our stuff and have fun. One of our guys can't fight rattan anymore, but he should be able to do cut and thrust. So we're helping him get his stuff together. Just little things like that. It's all little things. But this is also the part of being in the SCA. There's not always SCA stuff going on. Sometimes it's your projects. Sometimes it's, waiting. For Callantier, and we're working on hottest part of the year. So events are kind of thin because it's just miserable for this part of Kansas. I mean, right now it is super cool in comparison to what it was last year. Okay. A good example is it's still in the 70s barely right now, and it is about 11:15. It's supposed to be in the upper 80s. Not bad. Tomorrow is supposed to be almost 100 degrees. Thursday, this is supposed to be 100. Rest of the week's been saying out 90s. We haven't quite hit there, but it's also been breezy, so it hasn't made it as bad, and the humidity hasn't been as bad as it normally is. Everybody's like, oh, it's not the heat, it's the humidity, whatever. I know a lot of people down south, stuff like that, are like, oh, you guys don't understand humidity. Like, fuck you, we're from Kansas. Kansas gets to like 100 some odd degrees and like close to 100% humidity with no rain, no clouds. It's just evil, oppressive stuff. There's like no relief, like at all. So, same for Missouri. This just little pocket we live in is just, it's killer right now. There was actually a discussion not too long ago because our main war for Callantier is Lily's War, which is the second week of June. All right. With the exception of this year, which was apparently positively lovely. We just couldn't go because we were off at graduation. Normally people get there and it you have people just not going anymore because it's miserable. The heat is horrendous. The humidity is just oppressive. But the point of what I was saying is, like, when I first started back in the early 90s, the highs were like mid 80s, right? The world wasn't trying to kill us as much because, we weren't feeling as much of the effects of global warming. Sorry, if you don't believe in global warming, you're wrong. Okay? It's just one of those things. So that's been kind of always been a consideration, especially as SCA populations get older. Ability to endure heat goes down. If you've ever had heat exhaustion or heat stroke, your ability to endure heat goes down. I had hypothermia once. I can't handle cold like I used to. Just little things like that. So right now we're kind of people are also getting ready to likely to go to Battlemore in the Outlands, which is as nice as it would be. Mr. Atwood's going to be off of the conference. I got some other things I got to handle. It's just not feasible. Next event for us is probably going to be Feast of Eagles in Kansas City. How hot will it be? Don't know. Just don't know. So, kind of projects it is, practice it is, maybe going to KC since now they're back in Antioch Park. It's much closer. It's not the other side of KC, which is, it's a drive. It's not really worth it during the winter. So I am fortunate in where we live that with an hour, I've got 4 practices I could go to. Just have to decide which one I want to go. With us changing our practices around too, we now line up with Lawrence, which is Shire Carlsby. They also alternate their practices, so if we alternate, then we can have it where we can have 2 kinds of practice, within 20 minutes of each other for most folks. So that's kind of nice. So I think as a start, this will just kind of be it for the day. You may see me doing other things that are not SCA related, but in some ways they're SCA life related. So, like making this room have the ability to be a bedroom, storage space. SCA is a hobby of hobbies. You have stuff everywhere. It grows. You have to decide what to keep, what not to keep. It's a juggling act. So also I may go on like a little more like window shopping trips. Like here's things you can go look for, things that might be on sale, things that you can do this with. With that kind of stuff though, it's going to be window shopping. I don't have the extra disposable income right now, because of looking for a house, other things going on in our lives. So it'll be like, hey, you can get this and you can make this, that kind of deal. So kind of see how it goes, see how these vlogs go. I don't know if they'll be daily, might be every other day. I may have to put a little together. I can break out projects and actually work on them and show you how I process through it. And then just kind of go from there. Sunday is Coffee with Cal. We'll be for Cal Barter's Corner. I'm going to start working with them. We're finally... So we were going to do it a couple weeks ago. Mentally, though, neither one of us had the spell slots to kind of deal with it. And, real life had been kind of a pain. So we decided to wait. In the process time, Ducon's passed away. Cal knew them. I know Helga. So just trying to be there for friends and things like that. So, but we've talked some. We're still going to keep with it, and then that'll be a talking about Indigenous life in the SCA, talking about even doing the projects and things. So this is to kind of help me keep in the groove for doing that type of stuff. So we'll hopefully have a regular slot on there. And that's kind of the plan, and working with those guys will be a lot of fun because the folks involved in that whole project are really cool. I enjoy talking to them. So we'll have all that going on. Who knows? Maybe I'll design up a little set for sitting and doing stuff. Probably not. You never know. I may even do a little cooking. Who knows? So kind of go from there. If you guys have any questions or there's projects you want to see or projects you need help with, let me know. And then I have something I can point my hyper focus at, and then we'll go from there. So I think that's it. And maybe experiment more with adding music to the videos, stuff. We'll have to see. And just kind of go from there. Hope everybody's having a good day, and we'll talk to you later.